there are no spaces between the last letter and the period, and you use one space between the period and the first letter of the next sentence, right?
Yeah.
So the first way that you use a period is if you're doing a command, right? So if you're trying to give someone a statement, then you're going to put a period at the end of that sentence. So for example, that would be something like, hand in a poster essay no later than noon on Friday. So it's like your teacher's telling you when to hand in your assignment, right? Okay. So another one would be if your teacher said something like, well, not your teacher, but if someone said, in case of a fire, leave the building immediately, right? Okay. So, like, do you have any questions about this, or?
No, I don't have a question now.
Okay. So another way that a period is used is for an indirect question. Okay. So, do you know what an indirect question is?
Question mark?
A question mark? Well, an indirect question is something like, okay, you know, if I ask you, where did you go today? Then you're going to put a question mark, right?
Yeah.
But if I said, oh, David was out today, I think that David was out today, or something like that. Even though it sounds like a question, I would still put a period, right?
Yes.
So the difference between indirect and direct is that direct means that they're directly asking you something, and indirect is that they're not exactly directly asking you, but it seems like it's a question. So if I give you an example, it will be more clear. So, for example, the teacher asked why Mary had left out the easy exercises, right? So this question, this sentence might be a little confusing because it has the word why in it, right? So if you see the word why, you think it's a question, right? So, you know, say, why did she leave out the essay easy exercises? Then you would put a question mark. But since it's a statement, it's a teacher asked why Mary had left out the easy exercises. So it becomes, you have to put a period and not a question mark. Right? When would you put a question mark is if the sentence said something like, why did Maria leave out the exercises? Right? Then you put a question mark like that.
So for the first sentence is still asking?
Yeah, it's because the teacher's asking. It's just it's a full sentence, right?
So, however, it's full sentence put a period.
Yeah.
But I see I still need to answer her ask.
No, because you don't have to answer the question because it's not a question, it's a sentence. Because the teacher asked why Maria had left out the easy exercises. But if your teacher looked at you and asked why did Maria leave out the exercises, then you have to answer, right?
Okay, I know.
Yeah, the first one, the teacher asked that one, it's as if you are, say the teacher asked somebody in class, so you went outside and you told your friend, the teacher asked why Maria had left out for the easy exercises, right? So you're not asking them anymore, you're just telling them what happened in the classroom, right?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So here's another example of an indirect question. So that's the difficult part about indirect question is sometimes it looks like a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so for this one, my father used to wonder why David's ears were so big, right? So since again there's the question, like the letter Y is in the words, in the sentence, sometimes people think that the father is asking why David's ears were so big, right?
Yeah.
But he's not. It says my father used to wonder why David's ears were so big. So it's just a statement as to what the father thinks, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me how you would write this in a question with a question mark?
So question mark is why David's ears were so big?
Oh yeah, so if the question, yeah, that's right. So the question would be, my father, okay. why is David's ears so big? Right? So it would be like that, then it's a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the period section. So now if we go to the actual question marks, okay?
Yes.
So again, it's very important that you're careful not to put in question marks for an indirect question. So this is that. So you use a question mark at the end of a direct question, right? Not an indirect. So you have to be very careful not to put the question mark at the end of an indirect question, what we were talking about before, right? So the last 4 bullets, those ones are indirect questions again, right? So you end with a period. You have to be very careful, and that's the only way you're going to get, if you had like a question on punctuations, then it would be very difficult to tell the difference between the period and the question mark because of the indirect question. Okay, so let's see. So normal questions, these are some of the questions. So the last 4 bullets, they would be questions, because you're getting asked a question and they're looking for an answer, right? The other ones that we were talking about, the indirect questions, those ones, even if it looks like a question, there's no answer you can give, right? So if you look at my father used to wonder why David's ears were so big, you can't say yes or no or give a reason for why David's ears were big, right? It won't make sense, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. So the other one, so we can get to Boston quicker, can't we? We will take the interstate. So that means the question is, can't we go through the interstate to go to Boston, right? Quicker?
Yeah.
So you could say yes or no. You have an answer, right? Therefore, it's a question.
We can get to Boston quicker.
Right? So you can see that it says, can't we? So can't we get to Boston quicker by taking the intersection, right?
Yeah.
Is this confusing, the indirect and the direct?
A little.
A little bit? Okay. Okay, let's look at the next sentence. His question was, can we end this statement with a question mark? So his question was, the word like question is in there. Can we end? So if you can answer with a yes or no, then usually it will be a question, or if you can have a reason, it would be a question mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you put a question mark on something that says, hand in the poster essays no later than noon on Friday?
Wait, where? Where's?
That's the very first one in the very beginning. I have the first bullet that I put.
Yeah.
Hand in the poster.
Oh, handing in the poster essay no later than noon on Friday.
So could you put a question mark for that?
Okay.
Can you or can you not?
Can you hand in the poster essay no later than noon on Friday?
Like, is that a question? Or is that someone telling you something?
This sentence?
Yeah, this sentence.
It's a normal sentence. It's not a question, right?
No, it's not a question, right?
Yeah.
So, if you look at the teacher asked why Maria had left out the easy exercises, you see how underneath it I changed it to why did Maria leave out the exercises? And you could answer like, oh, she left it because it was too easy for her or something, right?
Yes.
So if you can give an answer, then you could put a question mark. If you're reading a sentence and there's no answer you can give, then it's usually an indirect question. So that means you have to put a period. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. We'll do a little bit of exercises when we're done with everything, so it's easier so you understand. So the next punctuation mark I'm going to do